What's up, everyone? I've got a question for you, and that's how grateful are you? Gratefulness is the royal road into God's presence. It's just a wonderful tool to keep a gratefulness notebook next to your bed. At the end of every day, write down two or three things that happened during the day that you're grateful for. And this has been shown to be very effective for people who struggle with melancholy and just being down all the time. Now, I'm not talking about clinical depression. You do need meds if you're on clinical depression, but I'm talking about just feeling blue and really not happy with your life. It's important to cultivate gratefulness. And we are here at the end of Luke chapter 1, which is just the middle of this musical. Luke has this, he really just does tell us about this musical that happens before the birth of Jesus in Luke chapter 2. And you have people breaking into song. You have Mary breaking into the Magnificat. And here in this passage, you have Zechariah breaking into the Benedictus. And a little bit farther down the road, we're going to have an older man in the temple area breaking into the Nunc Dimittis. And so you've got these three big songs and a lot of smaller songs in here too. It's just people breaking into song out of gratefulness. And the Benedictus here is a song of gratefulness, gratefulness to God for keeping his promises. Now, we all know the story of the 10 lepers, and Jesus healed them, and only one came back to give thanks. And that leper got a double blessing because of coming back and giving thanks. There is something about gratefulness and thankfulness. And please hear me. I'm not asking you to be grateful for terrible things. We don't need to be grateful for people dying of COVID-19. We don't need to be grateful for a war breaking out somewhere. We don't need to be grateful for the shops that are closing in your town and in my town as small businesses struggle with all of the things that are going around with this whole pandemic thing. To be grateful in all things, not for all things. To find a grateful place in the middle of everything. And for those of you living in North America, and we have people listening in from Costa Rica, the Philippines, Europe, everywhere else, but for those of you living in a Western democracy, a lot of our problems are first world problems. It's like, oh, I can't get Wi-Fi here, my day's ruined, that kind of thing. And we really need to be grateful for being at peace, for getting through the day safely, for being able to do the things we do with nobody molesting us or bothering us or hassling us along the way. To be grateful for the abundance, the superabundance of food in most of our towns and cities. The packed closets, the fact that one of our biggest problems is too much weight, losing weight, and not enough storage in our houses. I mean, think about that. That is a first world problem if I've ever seen one. And so to find something grateful in there, being grateful for the people we share our lives with, even if they're not perfect, being grateful for our shelter, being grateful for our sustenance, being grateful for God's provision for us, being grateful for the kind things that people do to us from time to time and the kind things we're able to do for others. To find that grateful place. Here, Zechariah breaks into a song, the Benedictus, where he just showers forth gratefulness to God for keeping his promises to Israel. And then he sees in a vision what his son, his baby son here, 8 days old, John the Baptist, is going to be doing to prepare the way of the Lord where those promises will be kept. I'm always grateful for you. I'm grateful for the way the Lord has grown this church. Many of you never listened to any of us or any of our teaching or weren't connected with the well before this year. And for you, I am very, very grateful. We're creating this wonderful community of people who are praying together, holding each other up, and getting each other through this pandemic with lots of encouragement and with the promises of God. I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for my wife of many years. I'm grateful for having too much food to eat. I'm grateful for always having shelter. I'm grateful for my church, the Well is her city. It's just the finest group of people you can imagine and the strongest leaders I've ever seen in any church. I am so grateful for all of this. And the more I cultivate gratefulness, the better my day goes. So I'm encouraging you to be like Zechariah and cultivate gratefulness in your life. And the more you cultivate that, the more you're going to sense the presence, the power, and the joy of God all around you. That's the good news for today, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.